It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie, yo, 134. Get in that neighborhood, my people. Here we go again, y'all. Here we go once again, baby. And hey, if you're new to the channel, bro, just hit that subscribe button. Welcome to the family. This is what we do on the daily. About to get into another one. And this channel right here, bro, is like every 4 days, every 4 videos, bro, we right back at this channel, bro, because he dropping another one. And we know it's gonna be a banger. So we gotta watch it. And that channel is Mike from That Chapter. Going back to That Chapter once again, my people. And the title of this one is The Twisted Hargan Family Murders. Now, we just watched the video about the little girl, the 12-year-old who murdered her mama, daddy, and little brother. I wonder if this, and before that, we watched the fucking, the Wagners, a family of 4 that murdered a family of 8. You know what I'm saying? 4 people murder 8 people, all family. You know what I'm saying? In a roundabout way, we just watched that shit. So I wonder if this gonna be on that same tight tip. I don't know, but we finna see. But before we see, my people, y'all got to get whatever you might need. Get what you need, man, cause we back to That Chapter once again. Y'all got what y'all need, bro. Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this whole video, to set the scene, well, the scene is, it's Virginia, and the scene is a scene we've seen before, but god dang, it's a doozy. On the outskirts of the District of Columbia, not far from Arlington, lies a little place by the name of McLean. Though the way it's spelled, that would make me think it's McLean. By day, McDirty by night. There lived the Hargan family, and when things got, McDirty, a call was made to the relevant authorities, a call which came from over 1,000 miles away, alerting them to what was going down in McLean. When they arrived, well, as always, nothing was as it seemed, but is it ever? So let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go and get whatever you may need. And real quick, bro, one thing that just popped in my mind, bro, a lot of these videos that we watch, bro, I ain't gonna say never, but a lot of time it be from the smaller cities, little small towns in the state, bro. It don't be from the big cities, even though shit happen everywhere. But that's one thing I like about them, like Mike and Adrian from Coffee House. Like, they cover stories from a lot of different places that we never heard of, bro. I ain't never heard of no McLean. Let's go.
McLean lies on the banks of the Potomac River, and it's not really a town, it's an unincorporated community. An unincorporated community of very rich people. I'm talking diplomats, senators, high-ranking military boyos, all those people, all those big shots who work in those big government things. That's them. I'm talking Pentagon, contractors, FBI. Who's that? I don't know. Some weird acronym? God only knows. So with that kind of clientele, the shops in McLean cater to those kind of people with those kind of wallets. You won't find many bottom shelf bars, is what I mean. It's one of the wealthiest parts of the USA, with homes routinely costing over $1 with a lot of zeros. And there is where the Hargan family lived, on Dean Drive. In a home that, I mean, screw a pretty penny, this cost a drop-dead gorgeous penny. It was worth over 1.3 million of your American dollars.
God
that
dang.
Was the home of divorced single mom Pamela Hargan. In 2017, Pamela was 63 years of age, proud mother of 3 daughters. 37-year-old Megan Hargan, then there was Ashley in the middle, and then 23-year-old Helen Hargan. Her ex-husband and father of those daughters, Steve, he left about 20 years before our story begins, and he never returned. Pamela had worked all her life, worked in human resources. This being DC, she had worked for Lockheed Martin for over 2 decades. Those bombs ain't gonna human resource themselves, and more recently, SAIC. What's that? I've no idea, it's just like one of those random acronyms. They're like defense, contract, they make things go boom. War. But come the year 2017, Pamela was looking to retire. She'd earned her fun books, she had taken her kids all around the world, she herself was often away on business, and after busting her ass for a long time, it's about time for me time. Now she lived in that big old house, but she didn't live there alone. Living with her was her oldest daughter Megan, and Megan's daughter, Megan had a 7-year-old of her own. Pamela was a grandmother. Megan and her daughter had been living with Pamela for some time. In fact, now Megan was actually married. She was married to a guy named Mike who lived in West Virginia, but they didn't live together. I'm kind of under the impression things weren't going so well. Megan, she was unemployed. She was having, a tough time, but she would later reconcile with I said she had a tough time. Look where she was living. She could do a hell of a lot worse.
I know,
She was having a grand old time with her mother paying for everything because she had all the fun books. Well, maybe not paying for everything. Helen Hargan, in the meantime, was living in Dallas, Texas, having just graduated from Southern Methodist University with a master's in operations research. Helen was, in fact, looking to follow in her mother's footsteps with, as she said in her resume, her career objective being a desire for a career as a consultant for defense contractors. Fair enough. Having graduated, Helen, she was planning on staying in Texas, at least for the foreseeable future. She had a boyfriend-fiance there named Carlos. She was actually in the process of building her own house, not far from Dallas. However, while she was waiting for that house to be built, Pamela, said to her, "Hey, listen, I got this big old house back in, here. Why don't you come? It's just me and, Megan and the granddaughter. Come live with us up here, while we wait for your house to be built." Helen, she gave it a hearty hell yeah. So that was the situation over the summer of 2017.
So, bro, I had to stop it real quick because I'm thinking, man, I got a lot of shit going in my head, y'all. I'm trying to figure out who committed this shit. Who did this? Y'all think it's Carlos? I'm leaning towards Carlos. I think it's Carlos. But let's go.
A situation that would dramatically change one July afternoon.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Good morning. Thank you for calling Capital One Bank. Would you tell me your name, please?
Pamela Hargan.
What can I do for you today?
I was told that I could do a wire transfer
Oh, you're going to buy a house?
for my daughter, yes.
I understand you want to complete a wire transfer with us today?
Yes, because
That wire-
they need it today.
On the 13th of July, a call was made to Pamela Hargan's bank, asking them to transfer money for her. To transfer $429,000 to a company that was out of state to basically pay the costs for closing on a house. Now, this was actually somebody impersonating Pamela, and and as soon as she was alerted, she shut.
Oh shit, that went Pamela, y'all. I'm thinking that really was Pamela talking. Oh shit.
That shit down.
Hi, who am I speaking to?
Who am I speaking to?
My name is Jeff with Capital One.
Okay, this is Pamela Hargan.
Somebody tried to do a wire out of your account for $400 and some odd thousand.
What? I did not do that.
This is
The
crazy.
very next day, which was Friday, the 14th of July 2017, so the following afternoon, this call was made.
Fairfax County Police and Fire, how may I assist you?
Yes, I need an emergency. My girlfriend told me that her sister killed her mom, and now my girlfriend won't answer her phone, and so.
She said she killed her mom?
No, she said her sister killed her mom.
Girlfriend at home right now?
Well, that's the thing. She won't answer her phone, and I'm thinking maybe something bad happened to her too, because her sister's crazy.
What the fuck,
This
bro?
was Helen's boyfriend all the way in Dallas, and he was the one who originally alerted the police.
Okay, so I was wrong on the Carlos shit, I think. So, which daughter did it?
Caller's third party says his girlfriend called him and advised that her sister killed their mother. Caller lives in Dallas, Texas, and the girlfriend lives at above address 67018 Drive.
The ex-husband spoke to a daughter named Ashley an hour ago, who got a call from the original caller, Carlos, in Texas, saying that there were shots at the house. The daughter, Megan, is en route to the house from Maryland.
No one's answering the phone.
What the fuck?
Frantic calls were then made between the various police departments. As you can hear, police surrounded the place. They had no idea what was going on in there. Was there somebody armed with a gun ready to open up on them? They surrounded the place before eventually opening the door and venturing inside. Upon entering the house, Pamela was found in the laundry room. She'd been murdered by a gunshot wound to the head.
Damn.
Helen was also inside, the only other person in the house. She was in the upstairs bathroom, dead too of a gunshot wound to the head. In her arms lay a rifle. Upon initial inspection, as it sounds, the police believed that Helen, this bright young girl who had her, her whole career, life ahead of her, she had taken a rifle, murdered her mother, and then turned the gun on herself.
We all know that ain't what happened. It was, what's her name? Megan, I think? It was her ass. It was the other daughter.
Well, that's what the police said to the media, anyway, right away. Because they felt that the scene did not match what it was supposed to be looking like, at all. The fact that the mother and daughter were found apart was unusual in, most of these murder-suicides. The bodies are together. The rifle on Helen's body was odd. It was, Helen was not a big woman. How would she have, pulled the trigger? Also, the entry wound was on the top of Helen's head, like the wound went down her neck. So I don't know what kind of gymnastics she would have to do to point like a .22 rifle at the top of her head and pull it in some weird... You would need some kind of Rube Goldberg machine to do that, because I can't think of any way a person could do that to themselves. While they were telling the press, this was a murder-suicide, a daughter, she shot her mother and then herself. Behind the scenes, behind closed doors, they were saying something very different, and the medical examiner was telling the investigators neither of them did this to themselves.
Shit ain't
Family members are found dead inside this $1 million home. A woman kills her mother and then turns the gun on herself.
After a weekend of work, police at this point haven't released a motive. Why a daughter walked into her mother's house and opened fire.
And then, bro, real quick again, man, I feel so bad for, like, Helen, because, bro, she even though she deceased, you know what I'm saying, like, it don't matter like that, but it still do matter because her name still matter. Even after we are deceased, our name, I feel like, should still be looked at in a good light in this world if you're a good person. Bro, she ain't do none of this shit. That chop thing, Mike ain't said it yet, but we pretty sure that she ain't have nothing to do with this, bro. But the fucking news outlets and stuff, like, slandering her name, saying the daughter who killed her mother then killed herself. And that's not what happened, bro. So I just hate that her name even was out there like that at one point in time. But let's go.
Nothing was matching what they would usually expect to find in these situations. They also found that gunshot residue from Helen's head wound showed that the gun, the barrel of the gun was not pressed against her head when the trigger was pulled, so if she had done it to herself, it wasn't possible, essentially. Long story short. Around Pamela's body also was found a number of spent shell casings, so whatever happened here was a hell of a lot more convoluted and complicated than what somebody was trying to make it look like upon initial glance. They were hoping, hey, it looks like what it is. Don't look too much harder. But it was definitely staged. So it was quickly classified again behind closed doors as a double homicide. But then, you know, the next step is, well, who could have come into the house? Who could have done this? There was no signs of any kind of forced entry, you know, any kind of kerfuffle at all, really. So then they began to think, well, somebody who would have been there regardless. And that's what some people were saying in those 911 calls also.
My girlfriend told me that her sister killed her mom.
To return to those 911 calls, when Carlos called the police in McLean, he said that Helen had told him she had just seen her sister murder her mother, and now she was trying to run and hide from her. The confusion initially stemmed from, you know, the person on the line saying their sister killed their mother. They thought that the sister who had killed their mother was Helen, that maybe it was Megan or Ashley was the one who was calling and reporting it in.
The ex-husband spoke to a daughter named Ashley an hour ago, so got a call from the original caller, Carlos in Texas.
No, not so. Carlos had a lot to say about that call, and basically that Helen had specifically said Megan had done it. Helen never saw her mother's body, but she knew what happened. Helen was on the phone talking to Carlos, saying Megan was there, her mother was dead, and that Megan was on the computer transferring money, and that not to call the police because Helen was worried that something might happen if the police arrived. And even Carlos was saying, yo, leave the house, get out of there, get out of there. You know, she just killed. Helen wouldn't leave because Megan's daughter was also there, her 7-year-old daughter, and Helen didn't want to leave her niece. After a while, the call ended. Helen wasn't picking up. Ultimately, Carlos called the police.
Bro, this is one of the most confusing cases I ever heard from Mike. Like, I still don't know who really telling the truth, who lying. Like, I still don't really know what's going on, bro. I think it's the other daughter who really did this shit, but it seems like this shit convoluted as fuck. Let's go.
Shortly after, Carlos received a text message from Helen's phone. Everything is fine. I'm not mad at Megan. So Megan then was the other sister who lived there with her daughter, and where was she claiming she was when it all went down?
Exactly. Where was she?
What happened? She got me the punch off on the fear seesaw. I'm really sorry.
This isn't real. This is not real. Oh God, what are we gonna do?
Well, at the time of the murders, she said she was in Maryland and was driving back, rushing back, you know, oh, my mother, my sister, rushing back from Maryland. Of course, distraught would be the word when Megan was told of what happened.
Jesus, what are we gonna do? I don't know. I just don't even understand. We're at the freaking house.
Megan would be interviewed by the police twice, 2 times. And, you know, she told the police that, well, guys, you know, to clue you in on what's really going on here, my sister, she was kind of a spoiled brat, you guys, and her and Ma'am, the Elwood, just didn't get on well at all. So, it's not surprising she would do something like this, go postal. I think she was also on the drugs, maybe the schnockta, maybe the H-dog, who knows what goes on.
Depressed, like, to do this, like, I can't. I can't. Helen has been so angry, like, just so angry all the time. She wants nothing to do with the family. She just wants to be off on her own. Something had changed. This is not my sister. This is not Helen. This is...
What do you mean? You mean,
just the person she's become. It's just not her sister.
And also, remember that Helen was building a new house in Texas?
Yeah.
Well, Pamela was the one footing the bill for that house.
This morning, my mom let Helen know that she was canceling the contract on the house she's building her because she truly believed that Helen was going to try to move Carlos into the house, and my mom didn't want him being there.
Megan eventually moved away to West Virginia, I guess reconciling with her husband, and together they would live in Monongalia County. She would say that she had been there on the day, the 14th of July. She'd woke up and it was just another day in paradise. But Megan would also say one other thing, that Pamela was planning on giving Megan money to buy a house in West Virginia with Mike, her husband, who she was reconciling with.
My husband and I literally just closed on our new home yesterday.
Okay.
My mom bought it for us.
Pamela Hargan had an older sister, Tamara North, who, as the investigation began and the police were saying murder and self-murder, that wasn't it. It was definitely Megan behind it. That Pamela never was giving Megan any money at all. Like, none of this was making sense. Helen and her mother, no, they were great. In fact, maybe Helen was the favorite daughter, and other people were not too happy about that. See, it emerged that Megan hated Helen, and she hated her mother also. She had become spiteful. She fought and disputed often with her mother, with Helen, who was 14 years younger than Megan. It was her baby sister. She'd helped raise her little sister because their mother was away so often with work. She hated them. Maybe she was jealous. Her mother was a very successful woman. Her sister was on the way to becoming a very successful woman, and Megan was not. The fights were also largely stemming from Pamela paying for Helen's newly constructed house in Dallas. And maybe, just maybe, Megan said to her mother, Pamela, well, hey, you're paying for my sister's house down in Texas. I want to buy a house in West Virginia. Cough it up, chompers. Where's my piece of pie? Pamela declined, and so Megan got shot down.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of Fairfax County. What had first looked like a murder-suicide to police may actually turn out to be a double murder. WUSA 9 has learned that the crime scene in the upscale McLean neighborhood may have been altered by the suspect.
The biggest giveaway was when the police looked into bank statements and logins on the day of the murders and the day before the murders. Someone had attempted to transfer money from Pamela's bank account to Megan's bank account.
I understand you want to complete a wire transfer.
Got her. That's it, though. It's confirmed. Got her.
Are with us today? Yes.
That wire.
They need it today.
Around $420,000. She was unsuccessful, though she tried, and she attempted to guess her mother's password many times before giving up.
What? I did not do that.
You're trying to think right now, how am I going to talk my way out of this?
No, you think
Okay. Do we think we killed your mom? Absolutely. Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes, we do. She caught you wiring on Friday. It's okay. Absolutely. Convince me that you didn't. We have you. No, I'm not kidding you. Not at all. She didn't approve this $418,000 transfer.
As I said, the day before, Pamela was even notified by the bank, hey, somebody's, moving money in your account, and Pamela said, shut this shit down. Be aware of fraudulent transactions and maybe people pretending to be me. Usually it's people pretending to be the bank.
So then at 12:09, your sister, Helen, calls Carlos and says, my sister just killed my mom and she's transferring money. And lo and behold, guess what? We find your voice on a banker line transferring money. It's true. We just listen. You just listen to it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So what? Explain. So all this looks like you killed your mom and sister. What you're not saying is no, I didn't kill her.
No, I said no, I didn't.
You did.
No, I said no, I didn't.
Okay.
I did not kill my mom and my sister. Period. I did not kill them.
Yes, you did. It took me a long time on this one, y'all, to really catch up to it. Okay, Megan, I was on the fence, bro. It was because all this line and so many different possibilities. I just, all these different stories that Mike was giving us. I'm like, But yeah, she did it.
For over a year, the police kept this to themselves as they continued investigating. ultimately arresting Megan Hargan in November 2018 for the murders of her mother and her sister and staging it to look like Helen had done it. That she had one day snapped and killed out of rage and jealousy. Nice. At the time, Megan had just $30 to her name. When she was arrested, she didn't look like she had slept much. I can't imagine she did after what she did. Megan Hargan went on trial in 2022, nearly 5 years after the 2 murders were committed. COVID delays coming in there, that's why there was such a long time. The trial lasted about 3 weeks, the prosecution going with, well, all the evidence I went through. She was jealous, she was bitter, and she wanted her mother to pay for her house. When she got shot down, she shot up.
I've believed from day one that she did it. I think it's about money. I think it's about hatred. I think it's about jealousy.
She says Pamela had bought the younger daughter, Helen, a house that she was about to move into before she and her mother were killed.
I expected to feel relieved, and after living in limbo for a year and a half, and I don't feel relieved. I feel sick.
The defense sticking with the original story. Helen had done it, and she had done it all. Megan pleaded not guilty on the 2 counts, but at the end, the jury thought otherwise. They recommended she be given 2 sentences of life in prison. Megan Hargan was officially sentenced at the end of October. Life in prison for Megan Hargan and the lives she took. And so ends the story of the Hargan family, you know, a story of greed, of jealousy, of spite, and of, well, an explosive finale. All the big ones. Megan wanted what her sister had. Her sister, who it appeared was going places she was not. Megan felt that her mother loved her sister more, that Helen was the favorite, to the point, you know, and that caused so much jealousy and resentment, it drove her insane, leading to her doing what she would eventually do. Gotta wonder what happened in the house, though, after Megan killed Pamela, the mother, like, because Helen was alive for quite some time, scared out of her wits, you know, while Megan, she said Megan was there on the computer trying to transfer money from her mother's account, until Megan, you know, eventually
killed her.
Did something about Helen, and then quite literally laying the blame right at her feet with a rifle. But that's not where the story ended. It ended where it should, with Megan behind bars.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much for watching.
Hell yeah, that's where the story ended. With Megan ass finally caught and behind bar, bro. This story right here, man, like I ain't know who to believe. I ain't gonna say I ain't know who to believe, but the way people was lying, and it was this and it was that, and you had the husband over here with this daughter, and the husband Carlos over here with this daughter, and the person who said they called was he the husband or the boyfriend or whatever who called and said my Helen just called and said that the sister and all that. I'm like, damn, should I believe Helen on this shit? But I knew Helen ain't had killed herself, bro, and her mama, bro. We just already knew that shit was bullshit. And that's when I was like, it got to be Megan. Like, it gotta be Megan, bro. It had to be her, bro. She did that shit, man. That's crazy, bro. These people, it's crazy, man. There's never a reason to fucking kill anybody, but especially like your family. Like, if y'all go watch the last video that we watched, if you ain't watched it yet, bro, about the 12-year-old who killed her mama and dad and her brother, she did this shit because, goddamn, she wanted to be with this old pedophile. This dude 23, she 12. She wanted to be with him so bad, and they stopped her from being with him, basically. So now she gonna go kill them. Okay, that was her reasoning. Then her reasoning because, goddamn, she feel like Helen was the favorite, and you buying her a house, but why you ain't buying me a house? Like, it's just like, bro, y'all reasoning is so like petty and stupid. That mean you wanna kill them? And Megan, I gotta lay blame way more at her feet than we do the 12-year-old from the last video, because you a grown ass woman, man, and you did that to your sister and your mama, bro. You a grown ass woman, bro. I'm glad her ass got life, man. She just got sentenced last month in October, bro, 2022. There was another good one, y'all, man. Goddamn, Mike does it again. Another banger, y'all. He gave us all the juice, all the sauce, and all the tea. Hope y'all enjoyed it, bro. I enjoyed it, bro. That shit had my mind blown for a second. Like, what the fuck is going on? Who is telling the truth and who is not? But it was Megan ass lying like a bitch, lying like a some bitch. Gonna let y'all get up out of here now, bro. But until I see y'all again, my friends, just hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and all that shit right there. And I got one more thing to say. The Bean Baby! Ledge.